Hello everyone, my name is Gabby and I'm a professional tarot card reader. If you guys have found that you are liking the video contents I am sharing and things seem to be resonating with you and maybe you'd even like more of an in-depth one-on-one private reading, I do offer sessions whether they be in person at my office, virtually, or over the phone, all over the world. So feel free to check out my website down below for more information on how you can get a one-on-one reading. And of course, if you are liking the content, make sure to subscribe so that way you're always in the loop of when I post a new video. On that note, this is going to be a message for the single folks, or maybe the ones that are curious out there, for who's the next person that's going to be joining that romantic chapter in their life. So, taking your time, we'll show a close up on the video too, but taking your time to breathe and letting your intuition guide you to the message for whether you choose group number 1 with calcite. Group number 2, we got some dream or tree agate with a little bit of red jasper in there. And then we have group number 3 with some crystal quartz. So taking your time to, again, let your intuition speak to you and guide you into the next love chapter person in your life. All right, so this is for those that chose group number 1 for today's message as to who's going to be that next person that's going to fill that romantic chapter in your life with the calcite here. So off the jump, the feeling I got when I was shuffling your guys' cards too is, and I'll kind of explain a little bit more of the message. I think group number 1, you guys tend to attract a certain person. So don't get scared that the devil card is here. I'll explain what's happening. But I don't know if this has become a pattern that has happened ever since you started dating and things started to fill up. I don't know what kind of childhood you had that allowed these kinds of things to be normalized as well for you. Again, it's a general reading. But what I'm seeing here is that love maybe isn't your strongest suit. But again, there's things we can do to change that. So with the devil card here, we have the 5 of wands and the 4 of cups. Essentially the next person coming into your life, and I kind of get the feeling that this has been a pattern with you, you have a tendency to attract the wrong person. So whether it's a girl or a guy doesn't necessarily matter here, but it's a person that whether you once see them or it's not even like necessarily a physical attraction, but they get your attention in this really strong, sexual, passionate way that impulses are just like on fleek and every sense about them is out the door. It's almost like you're attracted to the fact that there's conflict, because that's what we have with the 5 of wands here, and I totally get it because I'm guilty of doing this myself, that when there's problems and then when things get better, that type of cycle tends to make the good parts feel even more intense, even more ecstatic with it, right? Because we've had the bad. So when we have that duality jumping back and forth, the good is just so good, but the bad is just so bad. This may be a person that at first, and again, things can change, but it's going to depend on you and what you allow and what you really settle for. So don't settle for this kind of crap if somebody is maltreating you, especially if the relationship is toxic. Not to judge the next person coming into your life, but when the devil card is present, this one is a little funny in this deck because it does represent some sort of artificial intelligence. It's this cold, calloused person that may not even know that they are doing so, but at the same time, like, is that somebody that you want to be with is going to be the kind of question you have to ask yourself. When the 4 of cups is present, this does represent disappointment, especially in this deck. It's the feeling that you've brought this upon yourself. So as hard as it is maybe in the beginning when that heat is there, the passion is there, the sexual chemistry is just like on point, it's going to be hard to kind of come back down to reality and see things for what they are, but it's going to be what's the most beneficial for you and your sanity, especially so you don't keep attracting these kinds of people. That, again, I'm just getting this huge sense that you tend to do this, especially with the wolf card here. This is how you're going to be feeling about this person. With the wolf card, we tend to view people as a part of our pack. These guys are all about pack mentality. They're about family. They're about groups. So regardless of how someone's kind of acting like an asshole to you, you're still seeing a future with them. So again, that's leading me to believe that this is just a common theme for you. But at the same time, this is not something you have to accept, especially here because the lesson for you in this romantic chapter of your life. So again, general reading, but bringing on a romantic person in your life doesn't necessarily mean that they are the one. I'm not getting that vibe with this person, but hey, it's up to you on your choice. If you really do want to have a family with this type of person, they may not be all there yet. Again, this cold, calloused, combative, for whatever reason is there, excuse me, your lesson in this romantic phase of your life with this person is perception. Really having to grasp the facts, looking at the reality of how they are treating you. Do you like to be treated this way? Because if it's a no, then you have to accept the fact that it's just going to happen again. This type of cyclical battle, when it's up and down and up and down and up and down, we know it's going to go down again, so we also know it's going to go up again. But it doesn't make for a clean energy, and I'm not judging, but it's just like, do you really want to create a family with that type of mindset where that continues to get passed down into the lineage? Up to you on your choice. The interesting part here is with the goddess Lazy, she comes in, brings revelation. I think, and that's kind of her advice here, that rather than accept what you've eaten, like if you're used to eating this kind of shit soup, you can continue to get shit soup. Or if you take this time now with this person to decide and share with the universe that you don't want this anymore, it's really a time for you to grow and not accept this kind of treatment, wanting better for yourself. Again, that's going to come with being real and seeing things for where they are at, but also trusting in the fact that you know what's going to happen down the long run with this type of person, with this type of energy. They're not going to leave you. They're not going to be the ones to leave. Again, these types of people tend to see the benefit of taking advantage of someone like you who puts up with all their shit, where others just wouldn't do that. If you don't want to do that anymore, this is going to be the moment to break that chain so you no longer accept this type of stuff. So then romance can start to be something that's more enjoyable in your life, something that's more fun, something you're more excited about. But just a heads up, when that person does come in your life, there is still something you can do about it. So best of luck, group number 1. Alrighty, so hello for those that chose group number 2. So here's some information onto the next person that's going to be coming into this romantic chapter in your life. So, off the jump, honestly, you're probably, well, group number 3 had a really nice deck on there too. Group number 3, though, you guys get the wish card. So I don't know if you guys have been putting in work, or maybe like the past hasn't been so helpful to you in terms of love, and maybe you're just not the person who's ever been the talk of the romantic person in your group of friends, or whatever the case may be. But the wish card is here. Best card ever to get in a tarot reading, by the way, because she's here to cheers and salute you that your wishes are coming true. I'm personally attracted to the kind of one you're going to be getting here, because we have the Princess of Swords and also the Five of Swords. So normally the Five of Swords people don't really want to, normally in like regular tarot land deck, the Five of Swords can represent someone who's grimy, selfish, and maybe not the best person. However, in this deck, he's a little bit differently. So in this deck, he's still being the noble one. He's doing the right thing regardless of what's happening around him. How attractive. And with the Princess of Swords, she does the same thing. The way I kind of explain this gal is that she's kind of like Batman in human flesh, right? It's that vigilante. It's the person that, regardless of what is going on, regardless if it's approved upon, she's still going to pursue the right path. So the next person in your life is definitely going to be someone who's a justice fighter. I don't know if this is how you are, but I feel like because I tend to be this way, so attracting someone who has that same type of mentality that you're not going to stop just because the popo says no is such an attractive quality, because I feel like it's something so rare to find. But this is the person that does good regardless. This is someone who is extremely generous. This is someone who you can trust. This is someone who also, so keep it in mind, they may not look favorable in terms of people who are just watching in on this person with this rebellious attitude, can maybe invoke some sort of like danger or some sense that their stability isn't quite there, maybe not financially there. However, you need to allow those perceptions to kind of clear away from your mind here, because this is what you've wished upon. This is going to be the person for you. Kind of getting vibes that this, if they're not the one, it's someone that's going to be sticking around for a significant amount of time, where you both are able to grow and learn from each other. An intellectual after the jump. Again, the way that they're perceived, just because we have a lot of sword cards here, the sword energies aren't necessarily people who are these charismatic, outgoing extroverts, and maybe they tend to be a bit more cold and authoritative, but they're extremely intelligent. They also have a way with their words. And again, if you mix that in with this kind of badass kind of chemical here, that they're pursuing what's right no matter what, that's the type of vibe of the next person who's going to be coming into your life. And in fact, it's going to be so shocking to you that you've attracted someone like this that is almost not going to feel real. Don't let the anxieties, don't let people's perceptions make you weary. This guy or girl is going to be super attracted to you. They're going to be so grateful to have you in their life. You need to do the same. So eliminate that thought that this is too good to be true, which can happen when the wish card is here, because it's like, is this really happening? Is this really my life? Yes, it is. And you need to kind of guide and ride with these waves and enjoy yourself, especially because you got the cards of expression and we have peace in here, right? So this is the lesson that you are going to be learning with this new romantic person in your life. This isn't a time to be concerned with what happened in the past, or even like Google things to try to get a better idea of what this person's intentions are. This is a moment of peace. This is a moment of happy, like two people getting along in a manner that's just perfect. That's not perfect because nothing is, right? But it's just so clean. It's like you don't have to wonder about each other. Trust is going to be there. Support is going to be there. Again, I kind of gather that you may be this type of rebellious person as well too, which isn't a common quality to find in many. And so if it's there, it's going to be such a strong force that people just can't break away. And in terms of expression, this is really a time to let yourself go, be your authentic self, which I think has been a really hard issue for you in the past with romantic partners, where you either had to change or do all these kind of compromises. This is somebody that you can grow with. So it's somebody that I don't want to say like to test the waters with, but don't feel afraid to share personas of yourself. This is a time to express, to be fluid, to maybe talk about the things that you normally wouldn't with another person, to do the things you probably wouldn't normally do with another person. That's going to be this person that's going to be coming into your romantic life. In terms of your message as like how to handle this romantic chapter, we have stillness, Yoki Ono here. So she comes in to kind of be like, it's snowing right now. This isn't a time to maybe look for other options, but it's a time to be present and grateful for the moment that is. This is going to be a beautiful romantic chapter in your life. And again, I would suggest being grateful for it. Get that idea out of your head that you think it's too good to be true. And I don't know if like your peoples or anything like sometimes the ones I'm surrounded with, but because things are going so good, they kind of get this realistic idea that they want to talk you out of being hurt. So they try to pop this bubble of you. Don't let them do it. You are so deserving of this next person that comes into your romantic life. Don't let them make you think bad things just because they are perceiving things in a certain way. They may even be jealous and are doing it in a subconscious manner. Don't let them ruin this phase. This is a beautiful romantic pair, beautiful partnership. And again, really fun way that you get to express yourself in a way that you have never before. So group number 2, enjoy this new romance that's going to be coming into your life soon. Alrighty, so hello to those that picked group number 3. So here's what you can expect from the next person that's going to be coming into the romantic phase and chapter of your life. Lucky you guys, honestly. Same with like group number 2. You guys are going to be experiencing a really nice person. This is the kind of person I need in my life. So first off the jump, we have the King of Pentacles. So the person that you're going to be attracting, whether they be male or female, this does suggest to a male vibe, but we got some feminine energies here, so don't be afraid. But King of Pentacles is somebody who's going to be financially well off. They may even be someone who is older than you, is kind of what this indicates as well too, possibly by like 5 to 10, even more so, but financially well off. And I don't necessarily mean that you have to kind of put yourself in a sugar baby vibe, but this is somebody who knows how to budget. They tend to care about matters about like where they are living, not necessarily people who have to be so like frivolous with their money or wanting like showing off. None of those vibes at all, especially with the 9 of Pentacles. So as a card, as this person is, she is someone who takes care of herself. She is an independent woman. She knows the value in putting in the work and getting it back, which is the exact same energy as the King of Pentacles. He is someone who appreciates hard work. He is someone who understands that the more you put in, it's inevitable that you get it out. On another note, I don't know if this is good or bad, totally up to you and how you want to perceive it. This person is someone who may be a workaholic. Again, they take very much joy in the work that they do. They not acknowledge, but they really appreciate the fact that it also allows them to sustain the type of lifestyle they have as well too. So it's going to be someone like that. In terms of this one, I really like this card too, the 4 of Pentacles. A little different than maybe how we see other pentacles, which represents someone who could be like cheap or a miser, or again, someone who hoards all of their things. You may have one or the other here. So, for example, if this person is in a happy spot, they're going to be in a position of giving. They really like to be in a position of teacher where they are giving advice, counseling. But there's also a double-edged sword with it too, because these people don't like to waste their time. So, again, with this independent streak, they're not someone who maybe is so easygoing, but when they're giving their advice, they're giving their counsel, and you are receiving it, they are so happy with that. They're so grateful for that. They love that type of energy exchange, what makes me feel like they're going to be in a position of teaching you, but don't think that it can't go both ways. But also know how to read your partner here, because if they're in this mode, if they're like stressed out, maybe work's getting too intense and they're a little bit closed off, they are going to come across as distant, closed, maybe even ungrateful, and not in a position to give any advice, and maybe a little ruthless with it, is what this card tends to indicate. So depending on how they are is what you're going to get with it, but still a really good energy all around. Like, I would personally love to be with someone who's financially independent, who knows how to take care of themselves, who doesn't allow things to affect the way that they behave. They take an initiative, which is a really hard quality to find. This is somebody who is going to be self-motivated, but also they want to better you. So don't take that in a weird way, especially if it's something that's different, which I get the feeling it's going to be with the Phoenix card here. This is how you're going to be feeling about this person, that you've done the work, you've gone through the battles, Phoenix rising from the ashes. So again, this is someone like you've never dated before. And when someone loves another person, especially this kind of quality of person, they're going to want to help you better yourself. Now, that's not to say that, like, for example, if you're purple, they're trying to make you green, right? This is somebody who's going to make you the most brightest, saturated, crispy purple ever. They're going to hone in on your qualities and want to help you improve yourself. They will accept you as you are, but because they're always on a path of betterment, they're going to want their partner to be as well, which is something completely new for you, where maybe you're just not used to dealing with somebody. Maybe you're used to dealing with somebody who's just comfortable being. This person that's going to be approaching your romantic life is someone who is always improving. They're going to expect the same manner from you. But with the Phoenix, I get the sense that you're going to like that. So just don't let it blur your perceptions here if you feel like they're being too much. In terms of the lesson, you need to learn gentleness. So again, we'll talk about Kali here in Liberation. This is a relationship like you've never been in before. A really good one. It's where you are learning. It's one where you are giving. It's one where you are testing the waters. But again, because this person, I think, is just so independent, they may not be as romantic or maybe as affectionate as the other partners you've had in your life. They're nowhere going to be as needy, but at the same time, you have the ability to change that. Like, for example, if you're someone that is not getting their needs met, you have to explain that to that person. And then once they understand that, then they can start to adapt. They're not going to be able to read your mind because that's just not the way they operate. The card of gentleness is the lesson you are learning in this relationship. So don't be so hard on them. Again, they are just being. They're so used to being on their own. So the fact that they are even like turning this page with you is a huge deal, because they wouldn't do this with everyone. I don't want to make you feel like you're some trophy either, but again, kind of change your perception and see that the way that they are being, and then adapting yourself. And then, but again, if it's not working, be the bigger person to speak up, and then giving them that opportunity to address things, and do so in a gentle manner. Don't think that they're being distant or away from you. It's none of that. That's just the way they are used to being. But again, if you speak on this in a way that's gentle, they will hear, receive it, and then things can start to change, because they really will love you here. In fact, in terms of Liberation, is another confirmation that this is a relationship like you've never been in before. Kali comes in to destroy what has been and free you from the chains that you are burdening on yourself. No more being so hard on yourself. Same with, like I was mentioning with group number 2, if you're feeling like it's too good to be true, eliminate that thought from yourself, because it's happening. And this is a really strong foundation to build upon, especially with the kind of qualities of somebody like this, where they can stand on their own, where They don't need you, but that's not offensive, because when two people don't need each other, then when they come together, there's a beautiful type of magic that happens with that type of company, because you respect each other in a whole nother different way because you don't need them. And it's going to be really important for you because they're going to have their own life. They're going to have their own things that they are doing. And then they want to come to you as being this space that you can hold them and create and build upon. You need to do that too. Don't throw all of your life into this person and try to meld it with them, like doing everything together. That's not going to allow this to work. But you being your own persona, so that when you guys come together, it's like this freaking huge power couple. Beautiful card. So group number 3, enjoy this next person coming into your life. Very beautiful.